The presenting sponsor of Upmarket is Aereo, the best place to grow and manage your real estate media business online at aereo.com. That's ARYEO.com. Coming to you from the Upmarket studio at Gasworks in beautiful San Buenaventura, California, this is Upmarket, a podcast about the business of real estate photography and media. My name is Reed Fish. I am the CEO and a co-founder of Upmarket Media. And oh boy, we got a lot of people on the show today, but Mark Corcoran is not one of them. Chelsea Froelich is not one of them. Reed is rolling solo here, but I am excited because this is the first of what is going to be a new monthly series for Upmarket. And it is our Mastermind series. And we are so delighted that our pals at iGuide have come on to kind of be a special sponsor for this as well. They, of course, as you know, always are sponsoring our Road to PMRE episodes. But iGuide was so into those that they're like, do you have any other great ideas? And I said, well, of course I have some more great ideas. And so we've been working on this Mastermind series, and iGuide is in for that. So thank you, iGuide, for letting us bring this series to our listeners. And so just to preface what we're doing here, we are going each month. We have 4 businesses around North America, including Upmarket, that we are going to check in with and kind of have a mastermind, a real estate photography mastermind. And so I want to just go, and each month it'll be the same participants. So we get to kind of follow along as we're all in our various stages of scaling our businesses. And these are 4 business owners who are, in fact, just like Upmarket, scaling our businesses, and they're in very different spots with that. So I just want to go one by one here, and let's introduce yourself and then kind of give us a little snapshot of what your business, what stage you are in your business. So I want to start with Jenn Lueck in Prescott, Arizona. Jenn, hi, thank you. Welcome. You gave an action item at our spectacular, but now you're on the show. How's your business going? What are you doing?
Business has been really good. I am 1 year in, almost exactly this point. 1 year in as of May. So I'm the newbie. It's going really well. We have grown from what I intended to potentially just be me with one backup shooter when I couldn't get to something, to now I have myself and 2 shooters and an admin. So
whoa.
It's gone very well. It's growing, I think, a little quicker than maybe I was prepared for. So I'm playing a little bit of run and catch up, and kind of, although I have a plan, a little bit of winging it. So kind of why I was excited to do this is to pick your guys' brains and how I can kind of adapt and grow with more success than I knew it to do with.
Well, you are, maybe we're going to pick your brains, because that's a phenomenal amount of growth in just 1 year. Mm-hmm. So, and you are in Prescott, Arizona. So, you're kind of in the Southwest of the United States. And so we're going to go across the country. We've got Kelly Clark of Local Flavor Films. Kelly, what's your business all about?
My husband Brian and I run the business, and we're in Metro Atlanta. We've been doing this for 10 years now, which is crazy to think about. Like Jen, we just thought we would be just like really the 2 of us. We've got a team of 12 now. Oh. We've got 7 in the field. We've gone heavy into video this year, PMRE totally. For whatever reason, we never got to PMRE until last year, which is now a huge regret, because that's really jump-started so much growth for us. We went heavy into video. We literally, on the plane ride back from Vegas, we just worked the whole time, and we have not stopped since. And it's paid off. I mean, we've been doing really well this year, and just kind of growing like crazy. So we're grateful.
So you have 12 employees, you have 7 out in the field, and then what are your other 5 doing? Just admin or editing or?
Yeah, the other one is me. I don't shoot. I just my title is basically shoveling all the shit, is what I say. And the big stuff, we do have a VA admin that's kind of the front line now, which is and it has been an enormous help this year. And then we've got 3 other VAs that do various things, social media, stuff like that. So
cool. And then we got one more here. And yeah, everyone knows this one. And she was just on the show last week, but it's Alex Coombs of Northern Spruce Media in Hamilton, Ontario. Alex, everyone probably knows at this point, but catch us up to speed on exactly what your business is and where you're at.
So my name is Alex Coombs. I am the founder of Northern Spruce Media. I am my 8th year of business right now. I think the first 3 years was just like, doing the hustle and the grind and growing it to the point where it's like I could afford my first employee. And 8 years later, I'm 20 employees deep. That's me included. So just constantly growing. I've been doing interviews over the last 3 days to help with our overflow because we are so swamped and drowning right now. I don't know. Your guys' industry is so different from our industry, but they're so similar at the same time, like with your mortgages and stuff. Yeah.
You mean because you're in Canada and we're in the States?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. What's the key? What can you just clue me in really quick? What's the key difference like between the Canadian market and the US market? Why you just said that we're so different?
I just think because like for us this year, people's mortgages are getting renewed. So people are either going to have to sell. They don't have a choice because they can't afford the new higher mortgage rates, or they're going to like just buy another income property because the mortgage rates are more affordable than they were 2 years ago. Whereas you guys, your mortgages just stay, don't they?
Oh, so I don't even understand what you're talking about right now. The mortgage changes?
No yeah. So our mortgage rates get updated so frequently. So when COVID hit, and the effects afterwards, mortgage rates went from 2% to 8%. So people had to sell their houses because they couldn't afford it. And like for me, for example, when I bought my house in 2020 as a new build, my mortgage rate was like 2%. And then a month before I got my house, my mortgage needed to be renewed and it went up to 8%. And I literally was like, okay, I'm just eating rice and craft dinner for the next year so I can renew my mortgage. But it was crazy. So that's like, for me, I'm like, you guys are busy because people have the option and they can do what they want with their mortgages and sell whenever they want or just stay. But for us, like some people are just forced.
But that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, I do also want to say that, Upmarket is a participant in this. And so just if someone is new to the podcast, just to kind of recap the Upmarket journey, we have 100 episodes talking about that bullshit. But, we have, but just to catch you up, we've been in business in one form or another for like 12 years, I want to say. And it's my partner, Mark Corcoran, and I, who also obviously co-host the show often. And we have now one full-time admin, Chelsea, also, from the show. And now we have 4 shooters. And I think 2 of them kind of edging to kind of almost full-time shooters, and then 2 that are a bit more part-time. And then we do have a 1 VA overseas. So I guess, including Mark and I, we have 8 employees, I guess. So, So yeah, and we serve Ventura County, which is kind of on the coast in between Santa Barbara and Los Angeles. And I think the first thing I do want to talk about with all of us is how has business been? I mean, and I know like even Kelly touched on, we've really done a lot of video and we've really grown in that sense, but like, how's the market right now where you are? Because I know this year, since January, has been a little bit, crazy. There's just been a lot of like uncertainty. And, how is it treating your market?
Our market's really good. And we're in kind of an unusual area of Arizona. So we're a big retirement community. So we have a ton of people moving here to retire. We have a much older population, a lot of them coming from California. So with us, there's constant turnover.
Okay.
The older population either needs to move to assisted living or move closer to family. They're going, more people are coming. And we have a lot of cash buyers. So a lot of times the mortgage rates aren't necessarily affecting us as much as maybe somewhere with a younger community that is relying more on a mortgage. If they've sold higher somewhere else and they're coming in with cash, I've noticed, especially since January, a huge boom in amount of people that are listing. They were a little on the trepidatious side in last year, towards the end of last year. And then it seemed like once we got through the election, everybody that was waiting jumped into listing their house. So I think we've had a lot of inventory coming on. So for us, I think that's somewhat leading why we're so busy and why we continue to be.
And with it, I have two questions within that. If you are a lot of older folks coming in, are you seeing typically a lot of Canadian buyers? Because I know when my mom had her place in Palm Springs, I felt like every other person was Canadian. And then, and then obviously, how has that been affected this year? And then, are houses selling? That's the other thing. Okay, they're coming on the market, but are they selling?
Right. It's taking longer for homes to sell here, but they are selling. What I notice is if they are priced right, they move.
As
the people that are still holding on to that, they think they're going to get prices that they were maybe getting a couple years ago. I don't think that's happening. So if they're priced within a little over, a little under, they're still moving. So I don't think we're having so much a problem with that. As far as the Canadian, I'm not seeing a ton of that. It's mostly California.
Okay,
it's
sure.
People moving here. It's kind of interesting because they're coming from maybe where they were working and they're wanting to retire in a place. Our climate is really, we're not Phoenix, we're not super hot, and we're not Flagstaff, which is more of a college and it's in the mountains. So it's real for health reasons. We get a lot of people move here too. So yeah, a lot of California.
Yeah, and you're like kind of adjacent to Sedona as well, right?
We're about an hour and a half from Sedona.
So yeah. Not I guess. And do you consider Sedona your territory?
No. I started in Sedona. I actually started shooting real estate when I worked for the previous company in Sedona, and it's an amazing place to shoot, but the commute for me is about an hour and a half, depending on what area I'm going. It's very spread out. We do travel on occasion, but I don't want to do that. So potentially in the future, might look to bring somebody on to take on that territory. I think that would be a growth step in that direction. But currently, we're not. I'm just enjoying going there to enjoy it.
Yeah, right. That makes sense.
I love Sedona. It's one of my favorite places in the world.
It's gorgeous. It's interesting working there versus visiting as a tourist. Every time I thought I saw the coolest property, there was another even better reviews. So there is a ton of, I think, potential there with luxury.
Well, right. And so, no, but I can see that. And I feel like that's going to be something we're going to end up talking about over, the next year of this show is like, how can you bust in there? Because we kind of have those similar things where it's just like, it's a little too far for us. And you're like, well, I don't want to be paying mileage and the time to send my employees out there all the time. But man, wouldn't it be great if we could find someone who lived there and just, and just going to have it. So Kelly, what's it looking like in Georgia?
Like Alex, we're slammed. We're hiring. We listen to what's going on around the country, and we've been just super fortunate, I guess. We have not had a dip. We used to be pretty cyclical, and now we're just busy, and we're grateful. I think we had a week, when school let out, that I was like, where is everybody? And I got on Instagram and all of our clients are on the beach. So I'm like, okay, we're good. But it's where we are. Atlanta is a huge metro area. As you may or may not know, I mean, it is enormous. Yeah. You can drive from where we are to south by the airport. It might take you an hour and a half. So we've kind of strategically placed our guys to where, we cover the 4 quadrants of Atlanta. We've got a lot of people moving up north for the schools. The cost of living here is pretty low, all things considered, for sure, compared to California. So we've got a lot of people coming in that are young families, tech people that want to work from home. So we have also found that there's a lot more houses on the market. We doubled our prices this year. You
personally doubled your prices. Doubled.
We did. Yeah. And it's we gave this huge value proposition and huge push, and we had a client base of 700, and we were like, okay, for sure, we can keep 100, and we have not lost but maybe a handful. So that's why we're so busy, is because we were like, all right, we're going to go heavy video. We're going to, command what we're worth, all of the things. And we just haven't lost anybody. So we're we're super busy and very grateful for that. But that's, that's our video push. It's a lot of things.
Wow.
So we've added team members, and we've had like a little bit of like, okay, I've paid you X number of dollars this year and my listings aren't moving. I've had like two people say that to us. And so they are relying like super heavy on their marketing now to get top dollar for their listings. And I get it. But if it's overpriced, there's like not a ton we can do marketing wise. Sure. But the houses are sitting longer for sure. And brokers seem to be pushing, video. And so the realtors are just like buying into the whole system that it just, I don't know, it's all kind of worked really well for us to be super busy. So now we're just kind of challenged with personnel, finding and keeping good people. Yeah.
Oh,
that's crazy. May I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So if you're doubling your prices, so you must be like more of a luxury brand in your region. Do you have a lot of competition in your area that is way underpriced that,
or were your prices so low that you doubled them and now they're just like market average?
Yeah.
So we are on the high side now. We did not raise prices for 5 years, and that was a huge mistake. Yeah, huge mistake. So, we're definitely on the higher end. We don't want to be the cheapest guy. We have so much competition now. We didn't when we started like 10 years ago. There was like nobody. Now there are tons of competitors, which is good. And some of them, like they're young guys and they're killing it, and they are commanding good pricing. And I'll talk about this later, but we're trying to more collaborate with them than compete with them. But there are a lot of guys that are like way undercutting price, and we're not in the same category, and we're good with that,
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's crazy. I feel the same way, because I always say, I know do you guys know Tim Hortons? I know Reed doesn't.
I heard this on y'all's podcast.
Yeah. Okay. I always say like now, like when we first started, there was nobody really around. Like it was rare to find like a real estate photography business. But now they're just popping up like weed shops and Tim Hortons, like coffee shops. Every corner, there's like a real estate media company. And I'm like, what the hell? How am I supposed to compete with all these mofos? It's crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah, good for you. I love that.
Yeah, but then somehow you're hiring 4 new people. So I don't know. Apparently you figured out how to compete with those mofos.
Yeah.
So no, but that's, I think, man, already that is like the biggest, the nugget. We doubled our prices this year, and we only lost a handful of clients. And that's the one question I feel like we see over and over again in the Facebook groups, and that we get all the time is like, how do I tell my clients that I'm raising my prices? Do you think I should raise my prices? I mean, what if and we always say, well, if you, raise your prices 10% and lose 10% of your client base, congratulations. You just now make the same amount of money and work 10% less. But if you double your freaking prices and then don't, it's just like, I think the drinks are on you at PMRE. It sounds like. Alex, I feel like we actually have a lot of things in common, like strong eyebrows, like a sunny demeanor, a beautiful smile, and a deep, devoted love of Aereo.
Love Aereo.
Oh my God. We have been using Aereo for so long. And we, one of the thing that I love the most about Aereo is our clients love Aereo. And I'm sure that's been your experience as well, because you are also another Aereo user.
Yep.
Well, and it keeps things like so simple. And you could be more enthusiastic when you say the yeps, because this is an ad, Alex.
Yes.
Okay. But the reason our clients love it, of course, is everything is in one place. They can order, they can download their stuff, they can pay for everything, they can schedule, they can, all the things that they need are right there. There's marketing materials built in. So it's the one-stop shop for your client. It gives a login to your backend, to your system, and it's branded as you. So people think of it as just the Northern Spruce Media or the Upmarket Media platform, but it's not. It's Aereo.
It's amazing.
Well, there you go. So if you want to get in on the action that Alex loves, that I love, that Chelsea loves, that Mark loves, that, so many people love, go to Aereo.com. And if you use the code Upmarket and you're a new user, you're going to get 15 free bonus listings. That's Aereo.com. Alex, I know in America we're famous for our love of certain things, and like, notably our love for floor plans. And I know, I want to know, north of the border, are you like as floor plan crazy as we are down here?
Absolutely. Floor plans every day.
Every day, like fucking all day. I mean,
all day, every day.
All day, every day. Weekends as well. I mean, who doesn't love a floor plan? And and the thing is, in Canada, you have the all dressed floor plans, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
all
then,
dressed.
Yeah. And then, are you having on your floor plans, like, is it meters or is it feet or inches or whatever, square feet, or is it square meters?
Square feet.
Oh, okay. I thought Canada was the metric system.
You know what? I have no idea. I just say square feet. I don't really look at the floor plans. I just know that I love them. It'll be like 1,200 square feet.
Oh, all right. Perfect.
Yeah, 5,000 square feet.
Okay, perfect. That's great. Well,
Yeah,
I think a
whatever that
5,000
system is.
5,000 square meter house would be quite a large house. So I think you must be operating in feet. So and one of the best ways that I know to make a floor plan in square feet is Second Floor app. And I don't know, they might have meters. I don't know. We don't use metric system here, so I don't know. So Second Floor app, I mean, you can walk around with your phone and in 5 minutes make a floor plan in that house. And then it's going to be accurate and it's going to be instant. So it's instantly deliverable to your clients and you can upcharge them for that. Second Floor app, you know it, you love it, we know it, we love it. Secondfloorapp.com/upmarket. That's all spelled out, Second Floor app. You're going to get a free month of service if you go there. Go check out Second Floor app, and their delivery times are unparalleled. They are instant.
Yeah, 100%.
We're celebrating. No, we've gone to pricing by list price, which has been huge for us. You know, we used to do square footage, so we are
that's
like
interesting.
We took a huge risk there, and it has paid off big time because, like in Atlanta, there's certain areas it's like 600 feet for $1.5 million. So like before, if you go by square footage, we were sending a guy down to Atlanta. Parking sucks. You get there, you got to take more photos, blah, blah, blah. It's harder. You want more detail shots for more of a luxury, penthouse type of thing. So, and we weren't getting compensated for that. So then we changed to list price where it's like, okay, up to 500,000. Most everything in our market is over 5. It's very rare that we shoot anything under 500 here. And then, it's just tiered up by list price. And that has really helped our revenue as well.
Well,
that's so sick. Yeah.
I have questions.
I highly recommend it.
Well, okay. That's interesting. And I think because how I've always felt about that is, I hate those like super cool places that are 800 square feet and like in here in Ojai they're like an acre and like I got to take 65 photos and it's my base price. But I always think, well, that comes out in the wash because then most of the time when it's 800 square feet it's just dinky and we can take 20 pictures and be out of there in 25 minutes. And so over like it just kind of evens out, right? And I've always kind of felt that way. But that is such an interesting thing. But here my biggest question is, when the agents call us, they don't exactly know what the list price is going to be for sure. And then that feels like it's a lot of work on the admin side of wrangling the price. Cause we just do a Google search and we find the square footage. Right. And and that's pretty certain. So I just feel like the list price just seems nebulous. I mean, have you had issues with that?
We haven't, because it's ballpark, right? So it's up to 500 and then it's 5 to $1 million, million to 1.5. So we have yet to run into like that big of they're not sure. I mean, they'll have a ballpark, or for us, they've had a ballpark. Right. Yeah. So we've been okay there. And so when someone's like, well, it's, I don't know, it's going to be around 1.5. And of course, most of the time, if it's going to be 1.5, it's 1.4999. And so, I mean, there's always that dividing line. So I guess you just have to kind of call it as, like decide which tier it is just based on feel. Yeah, and who the client is. I mean, if they're a great client, I'm not gonna, if they're gonna list at 1.4, I'm not gonna charge them 1.5. I mean, we do make a lot of judgment calls on that. And then, if you look up Zillow, I mean, I know the Zestimate can be vastly off here. It's not as vastly off as it might be in other parts of the country or Canada. I'm not sure how it works, but we can get a pretty good idea of ballpark on Zillow, add like a couple $100,000 worst case scenario. So, yeah, we haven't run into any challenges on that. They have asked like, hey, where is this pricing coming from? Because like on our price sheet that we send to them, it'll say starting at, and our base prices. So I'll have to walk them through, hey, because they're like, hey, why did it cost me X last time and it's more this time? Like because of list price, and everybody gets it. I expected a lot more pushback on our pricing and on the whole list price thing, but we really haven't gotten it. And the people that have left sometimes will come back just because they're used to the client experience. They're like, okay, I went to this other company, it sucked, and so we're coming back, and I'm just going to bite the bullet and pay your prices. So we get that too.
Well, and it makes sense. It makes super sense, because if the house costs more, they're going to make more, the realtor, and so they should have a bigger marketing budget, right?
Exactly. Precisely.
Right.
Yep.
So, are you the only person in your area doing that?
Yes.
Fucking awesome. Good for you.
Yeah.
I love it.
That I know of. I mean, yeah, we haven't run across, I think we've met one other person in the country that's doing it.
Yeah.
Like Brian started kind of kicking it around. I'm like, whoo, I don't know. Like, that's crazy. And we met one other guy that's doing it and like swears by it. And so we're like, okay, well, with our market, it made sense, just because we do have so many smaller homes. And then we do have like enormous homes that are $1 million that take half a day also. So it's like, I don't know. It's worked out really well for boosting our revenue. I will say that.
It's a little blowing my mind right now. So I'm like, I'm not quite
like
sure
speechless.
how to. That's rare for Alex. So Alex, business is booming for you, and you think it's because the rates are changing.
Yeah. Basically. So the rates are everyone who has a mortgage right now, for most people, their mortgage rate is getting renewed. So with that, it's either like they decide to keep their house or they decide to sell. Some people have to sell because they don't have a choice, because they're, I don't know, not used to a whole percentage more.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it's not as bad as it was a year ago. It was really bad a year ago and 2 years ago. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I got my people to help me out with this. But like last week, last year, we did 54 shoots. This year, we did 67 shoots. So we're up, which is amazing. Right. And it's just crazy to think that like in 1 week, people can do 67 houses. I don't know. It's wild.
Yeah. Well, you have 20 people.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, sometimes I look at that and I'm like, wow, that's just crazy. I mean, I always knew I would get to that point because I don't say no and I just don't stop. But it's sometimes it's over. Like next year, that's going to say like 90.
Yeah. Right.
Right. It's just wild.
Wow. I know you think so. Yeah. Well, and for us, we've been, I was kind of digging deeper into the numbers, and I think we were looking at certain numbers and we thought we were a bit up, and I think we're actually a little flat this year here. And it just feels like the market has, like, I don't think we've lost market share, maybe a hair, but we definitely have more competitors now than we've had kind of ever. So we are kind of seeing that a little bit, but we're still, our rate of getting new clients is super high. So we're always onboarding a new client. It seems like every day or, a few times a week. But houses are definitely sitting and not really selling, especially, that same kind of thing where like Jenn was saying, is like, if you have the, trying to get that premium price, it's a little hard to move those properties. So I feel like, and I don't know. And I think it's just I think this area has been super spooked as well. I mean, we're like in the bastion of like liberal California, and the way the politics have gone and the tariffs, I think everyone is just like, they're pulling it a little tight. I mean, that's my own personal opinion. I don't have any data on that. But that's just what it kind of feels like in the air. But I could be 100% off base on that. But we've just had like busy weeks But then it'll fall off. Like I feel like I was just looking at the calendar for next week and it's like, oh man, it's a little bare. But I often feel that on a Thursday or Friday. And then by the time Monday rolls around, we have kind of a full slate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just feel like, our marketplace has been flat. And I hear just the chatter from the realtors of like, it's been tough out there. It's been tough just because things are not selling. And what I would say is I don't really give a shit if things sell. It's just, we want to like get things on the market because that's how we make our money. But at a certain point, stuff has to sell or the realtors aren't going to have any money to pay us for marketing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We feel the same way over here. It's like not a lot of things are moving. Things have been sitting for months. But now I think since the summer market's picking up, I'm like, okay, the spring market never really happened and now it's the summer market. So
in terms of sales, in terms of sales. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then how seasonal are your all's business, right? Because now we're recording this in June. We're traditionally, I think for most of us, this is kind of like maybe our busy season or kind of the end of the busy, or, kind of the tail end of the busy season. Is that true for everybody in your market?
Still trying to figure out the data because I am only 1 year in. That being said, for us, summer is typically our busiest season leading into the fall. We stay busy and that kind of falls off a little bit in the winter. My January and forward, my January was busier than my previous summer.
Wow.
Like double. So I don't know yet if that's just the market or the fact that I don't have as much data to compare it to at this point. But we do have a season, but it seems like this year it's going up in the summer months, but I've also brought on another person. So our capacity is more, you can do more shoots if you have more people. So I can't speak to if that's accurate, but it does seem like traditionally, even when I was working with the other company, summer was our busier season. Like we ramp up starting in April.
Yeah.
Same for me.
And then same for you. Yeah. I mean, because winter in Canada, it just feels like it would be so tough.
Oh yeah. There's nothing in December. There's really nothing in January. February, it's like, it's going to pick up a little bit.
Yeah. So you do some work in the winter time, but
Oh, for sure. Like we always make sure people's plates are full at the end of the day. There's always work to be done, whether it's just like in-house or shooting, but yeah.
So, okay. So now for you, that just piqued my interest because it sounds like your employees are just like your employees and they're working a certain number of hours every week, whether their shoots or not. Because I think most of us, and I don't want to speak for Jenn and Kelly, but it's like when there's work, our employees work, and when there's not, they don't really work unless, sometimes we'll have a project that hey, do this. But how do you occupy them during the slow time?
Honestly, we'll just do a lot of internal content and push it on social throughout the next few months. We just really try to plan out things that didn't work. We retrain our freelancers or our part-timers to make sure they're still up to par. We utilize our time as much as we can. In the wintertime, if we have a twilight, it's probably going to be at 5 p.m. because it's so dark out at 5 p.m. Whereas now it's twilight's at 10 p.m. So it's just we can utilize our resources in so many different ways. And, in the summertime when you are so busy, and I'm sure you guys feel like this too, you got our personal businesses take a hit because we're so focused on everybody else except us. So in that slow time, we really try to refocus on us. Well,
and so then, but to drill down exactly, are your employees just salaried and they're going to be working for you in December no matter what, or are you kind of like us hire on a not a project basis, but when there's a project you're working and when you're not, you're not?
Yes, yeah. So basically, almost I would say 70% of my team is full time with salary and benefits, and then the rest are part timers. So they are still on payroll. And they just get paid hourly.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, it is. It's scary, but it's good.
Well, it's good. I mean, that's good for employee retention, right? Because that's one of the hardest things is having employees that can kind of make it through the slow times with you. And so we're always like, well, do you have other work? And I wish it could just be like, no, like work internally on upmarket stuff, but it doesn't feel like we always have the budget for that. So, because I have to drive a Ferrari. I mean, it's just how it is. And I can't,
priorities.
We just have our needs. So, but Kelly, what about you for seasonality and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we're definitely busiest like April, May for sure. It's mild here in the wintertime, so we've got work year round now. I was interested to hear what Alex said about her employees because we just hired 2 W-2s for the first time ever. We've always been contractors, and we just like can't find anybody that just like is really bought in, like Nikki Shoots. I watch y'all
like
with her,
Nikki,
and I'm I want a Nikki Shoots in Atlanta. So
who doesn't?
Exactly. So we did hire 2 W-2s. I think it's going to make a world of difference because we can keep them busy full time year round, and it's going to be a learning curve for sure. And so Alex, I want to kind of pick your brain on that stuff as it happens if I could, but right now we can keep them ripping all the time. We just got uniforms. Like, I just feel like, okay, somebody explained it to us like this because we're always like, I feel like we're too nice. It's like, oh, you don't want to fly drone or you're not great at video. Well, we're going to like mesh these 2 people on shoots. And it was like becoming extremely inefficient for us. And it's like, if we had 2 full-timers ripping and they're ours and they just go where we need them to go and they can do all of the things, that solves so many problems right there. So it's brand new. So like literally, we did training last week and the week before. We've got one starting full time on Tuesday, like on his own. So I'll be interested to see how it goes. But we're super psyched about that because it's like we just feel like we can just tell them what we need and they're just going to go do it rather than like, they didn't like these shots. Do you mind going to grab this or do you mind going to like we're always just on eggshells with our contractors. And so not that we're going to like, abuse our W-2s, but it's just a totally different buy-in from them. Right. And we're super stoked about that. But seasonality, I do feel like we can keep them busy. I know we can keep them busy last year or year round, if this year is anything like last year. So, because we do have a ton of shoots even in the wintertime, and then we've got a ton of work to do on social. There's just so much to do all the time. So,
and so I had never really thought about that with contractors because as we've said a million times on this show that, we have employees and in California, we feel like the laws are not set up that we can have independent contractors, even if we wanted it to be that way. So typically when you have your contractor, you're paying them per job. And so, they get $150 to do the photos or whatever. And then then they're done. And then if someone's not happy, then you have to they already got paid. So you have to kind of convince them to go back. And especially if it's not something they fucked up, it's like if they clearly messed up, you could be, hey, go fix it. But if they didn't, you're like, oh yeah. Jen, I'm sorry, did you?
Yeah, I got to push back on that a little bit because I disagree. So mine are all independent contractors and they get a percentage of each job. I haven't had any problem when there's been an issue on a job, having them go back. The incentive for them is that if they want to keep working, if they want to get rehired, they got to do a good job. And maybe I've just been really fortunate because I do have a small team. They really care. Sometimes the one in particular, kind of my second in command, I think she cares too much. I have to be like, it's good. It's fine like that. Let's keep efficiency in mind and productivity in mind. But the incentive for them to do a good job is so that they do continue to get rehired because in my experience and some of the other teams I've been on, when the customer service isn't there or the quality isn't there, they will just go on to the next person. You're not working anymore versus if you are salary or, that kind of thing. I don't think there is the incentive necessarily. And maybe that's just because I don't have experience in it.
Well, yeah. I mean, we can still fire people, Nikki. You better keep doing well. And the level of care. She seems like she really cares. Of course.
So I think it comes down to just a person's work.
Yeah. And honestly, we were overpaying our contractors because we were giving them, it's more of a revenue share. We were doing a percentage of the shoot. And, somebody explained it to us like, hey, you're the business owner, you're taking all the risk, you're the one that got the client, you're managing the whole thing. They're going to shoot, which is obviously a big piece of it, but they don't deserve a piece of that revenue. This is just one person's opinion. Right. So it's like, we do. We just felt a lot more empowered that way. And I feel a lot more empowered having W-2s just because we are taking all of the risk, and we do feel like we can require a little bit more of them. That's just been our experience here. We have a hard time finding people that like want to work, need to work, like need the money. I'm like, how do you live? Like if you're not working, like, I don't know, we work all the time, but we just, we have had personnel challenges. The ones that are with us now, they've been with us for years. They're awesome. But they are used to now their payout, which is a revenue share traditionally. So that's why we're kind of like shifting to W-2 because it makes more sense for us.
And then when you're now with the W-2 employees, and how did it work in terms of like equipment and stuff, right? Because I think if they're employees,
providing equipment.
But with your contractors, you weren't, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's one of those big, And now we just kind of hired on, we just said this opportunity came to hire somebody that we didn't really need, but we're like, oh yeah, I think this would actually be really great. But then you're like, well, it's great because they feel we don't have to do much training with this person. But then we're like, shit, we got to buy a whole nother kit. So it's like, okay, it's a few $1,000, but I think it's a worthwhile investment. But that's always in the back of my mind when we want to bring someone on. It's like, okay, well, what do we need to supply them with?
Yeah.
One of ours had all of the equipment, most of it. We just had to supply like a 360 camera. So that was a gift.
Yeah.
The other one we had to outfit him. Yeah.
Well, then are you paying them a rental fee for their gear, or are they just kind of using it?
No, we're just letting them use it. I hadn't even considered that.
I feel like if they're using, my personal opinion, if they're using their, like, I think typically like in film industry stuff, like if the DP brings, a lot of times when like a director of photography comes, they have a bunch of equipment and they bring the equipment. So they pay their day rate plus a rental for the camera and stuff. And so I think and I kind of feel like if they are an employee and they're using their own equipment consistently, they probably should get some sort of like rental fee from you guys because they're basically, in real estate photography is hard on equipment ultimately. And so they're kind of using that their own equipment for your benefit, and they're not really seeing a benefit from it.
That's valid. Yeah. That's valid for sure.
Yeah. So, and that's one of those things where I feel like that comes from a place where that makes your employee feel really taken care of. Because I think what happens in a year from now, you'd be like, man, I just fucked up my camera because I took 100,000 photos this year. And like, what am I saying, for what benefit? Because Jack over here, you bought him a camera, So it's like, I think that's one of those things you got to be, and that's, we always try to think about those things on the edges of like, what is our employees' experience like? And are they going to feel taken care of? Or are they, like, it's the little thing where I'm like, when you put your hours in and if you work till 5:08 p.m., please put that you work till 5:15. Do not write that you work till 5:08. Always go to the next 15-minute increment and always do it in your favor, not our favor. And whatever. And it doesn't, that costs us $3 or something, or, whatever, or more, whatever it is. And it's like, it's so much better to have that goodwill, I think. Alex, I know, speaking of Canada and being popular in Canada, especially, iGuide. I mean, we know iGuide, Canadian company, a ton of users in the United States too. And I think we're trying to get more users in the United States because iGuide is such a wonderful product, a wonderful team, a wonderful company. We love iGuide. Alex, can you talk just for a sec about your experience with iGuide?
I love iGuide so much. All my clients love iGuide so much. The floor plans are extremely accurate. Everything's ready within 24 hours. The customer service is by far the best I've ever experienced in my life.
Whoa.
And every employee there is so fun, so nice, and so willing to help you. Like
even Even
Everyone
Skylar?
loves iGuide.
Even Skylar?
Skylar.
Oh, even
Yeah.
Skylar. Okay, good on
Yeah.
Skylar. Well, that is an endorsement. I feel like that is very genuine. And and I know my experience with iGuide has been the same. They're such a joy to work with, and I've heard that over and over again. And I know when Skylar comes on and say, "Hey, we have great customer service," you're like, "Well, you say that you're from iGuide, but you're not being paid by iGuide. I'm getting paid,
Nope.
so don't believe what I say." But yeah, exactly. Take it from Alex. Their customer service is unparalleled. They have their new Planix Pro system. They have iGuide Instant. They have so many different offerings that they're doing, and I would ask you to go check it out. Go to goiGuide.com. Check out all that they have to offer. They got a lot of different, and it's a paper project. That was the thing. I was going to say they have a lot of different plans, but they don't have plans because it's pay for by project. So you're not out this big monthly fee like you are on some other 3D platforms. So I would heartily endorse checking out goiGuide.com. When we're talking about AI, we want to talk about ethics, right? I know of an ethical AI photo editing company. It's Fotello, FOTELLO.co. You can see their website. Fotello is ethically sourced AI editing. They have consistent, high-quality edits every single time. And even if the quality is not where you want it to be, they have human revisions available within 6 hours on request. And they have affordable pricing as low as $12 a listing. We've been toying around with Fotello a little bit, and it is kind of truly amazing, the edits that are being spit out of there. They're very quick, very fast, very high quality. And every single day, they're making their platform better. You can fine tune the edits you're getting. You can have a more natural look, a more HDR look, all the different ways that you can make those photos match your current style. It's not just an AI style, it's an AI your style. So I would encourage you to check it out. It's fotello.co. And if you use the code Upmarket25 at checkout, you're going to receive 25 free listings, which is, you could have even up to 1,500 photos, could be a $500 value. So check out Fotello, where they charge you by the listing, not by the photo. Whether it has 30 photos or 100 photos, you're going to get charged the same, but you're going to get 25 of those free if you use the code Upmarket25 at fotello.co, Fotello. So I want to pivot this conversation a little bit to social media, because I feel like that's been on my mind quite a bit, and partly because of of Alex's influence, I think, on us, and I think Alex has influenced all of us here and so many people in our industry after PMRE, is that we're looking at the content that we are producing for social media differently. And, we've kind of unleashed Nikki, and that has been like phenomenal for us. And I guess I wanted to first ask you, Kelly, because you said, hey, we got on the plane, we were inspired, and we said, we're going to do video. So were you not doing video before? And then what changed about the video, the type of video you're doing, and how has that kind of paid off for you this year?
Yeah, we were doing video before. I cringe when I watch them now because they're just like, we just weren't being intentional about it. We weren't getting realtors on camera. We were doing the welcome to the 1, 2, 3, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Who cares? So we just made them more fun. We're getting them involved. We have followed the trends, and we have put that on social, and we are taking a step back from social just to figure out how to be more authentic. Can't wait to take your workshop, Alex. We are signed up for it to get re-inspired. Yes. I'm so excited because social has just been like this piece of the business that has been very challenging, because I'm trying to feel authentic, but then you also hear that you need to post consistently daily. And then at some point you're just checking the box, which is not authentic. So Anyway, we have been posting a lot of our videos on social. They are the trending stuff, and we have gotten a lot of business out of it. You know, it's not necessarily what we want to continue doing with our social, but our videos have been more fun. We've been doing a ton of vertical videos, lifestyle stuff, you know, calling, talking about music, talking about, you know, just kind of the direction before we get on site. We used to just like book it, show up, you know, figure it out. And not a lot of realtors on camera, but now I would say 95% of our videos have the realtor in them. And we've just sold that on the front end. Like, hey, you get so much more engagement. This is great for your branding, all the things. And even if they're uncomfortable, I'm like, I don't care. You're going to do it anyway. And we're going to make you comfortable, and it's all good. So our videos have gotten to where when they come back in the morning, I'm super excited to watch them. So before I used to just like, not even really, you know, I'd let QC handle it, no problems. I wouldn't watch them. Like, it just wasn't that exciting. No. Now it's like, I pull up our videos and I'm like, oh my, I can't wait to see them. They're just,
yeah, no, every time Nikki puts out a video, we're like, yeah, oh, this is, you know, it's fun. Right.
Oh yeah.
And so
hers are awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Jen, what's your video situation looking like in your social media?
I feel like that is something that we are probably weakest on, is video. Social media is, I mean, I'm on there pretty consistently. That consistency isn't necessarily a strategy. But that being said, even when I don't feel like I'm getting a ton of engagement on actual social, I hear about it in person. Oh, we've seen this. We love what you're doing. And so I feel like as long as I'm getting some positive feedback, good. And as far as the video stuff goes, as a photographer, first and foremost, that's what I started. Learning video has been a little bit of a struggle. A lot of our agents here do not want to be on camera. They have tried. Some of them will get on camera, but some of them just don't want any part of it. So I think what I need to do is figure out a way to make creative videos that don't necessarily rely on the agent being on camera. So some of the challenge for that has been, when do you have time to learn and implement new things when you're so busy? Because I do like being in the field and I do enjoy shooting. So part of my time is being split to running a business and also still doing what I really love doing and staying in the field. So we're still kind of trying to navigate and figure out the video and what we want it to look like from a branding standpoint. I think I have a general idea of what I want it to be, because right now it is a lot of, you know, hi, I'm so-and-so and welcome. And I hate that, but that's also what they want to do. So how much pushback? If they're wanting that and they're happy with that, do you...
Well, I think there could be a thing of like, they don't know what they want.
Yeah. I was going to say...
Go ahead, Alex.
No, yeah, I was going to say, like, I think a lot of the time realtors only do what they see. So if they're seeing constantly, hi, my name is Alex and we're at 56 Main Street today. They're only doing that because that's what they're seeing and they don't know any better. So if you throw them in a situation where, you know, it could be ridiculous. Like, the powder room is amazing. The wallpaper is gorgeous. And like, you know, it looks so nice. Have them state that right away, because that is an amazing part of that home, you know? Or just like, you don't even have to start with the outside of the house. Have them start there or somewhere else in the home. And just like capture that attention right away. Because I mean, you got to think, you have 3 seconds to hold somebody's attention. If they're starting off, my name is, it's gone, you know? Yeah. So it's like, they might feel uncomfortable with it, but if you show them and be like, look at this video, this is really cool. And this is what's actually trending right now. How do you feel about trying this? And I guarantee they won't say no, because realtors need direction, because they're not actors. They're not people who are used to being on camera. So I love giving suggestions and, you know, being like, hey guys, this is really hot right now. Let's try this out and see where it goes. Is it going to do better than your last video?
Do you think that there's still the possibility to get a lot of views if an agent truly doesn't want to be on camera, to create some kind of video for social in particular without having to have that agent on camera? Because a lot of them just truly, they won't do it here.
I think there is. I mean, and what I would say is, the one that always sticks out to me, and it was in at PMRE last year, Devin's presentation, and for not all our audience was there, but there was this one video where it was like it was just the house, the realtor wasn't there, and he had one of those floppy guy that you always see in front of a used car lot, and yeah, and it was just like that was like the homeowner, and it was just like looking out forlorn or through the window or whatever, and it was like that video was so engaging, and there was no realtor in sight, and I guarantee when that was put out, that got a lot of traction. So I think it does take a level of creativity though, and I think, and one of the things that I've seen that is hard for the photographer brain to get around, and so many of us in this industry just came at it from this, I like cameras and photography. They just, and like Mark, he doesn't really think video terms, because he really comes at it from photography, and so he's learned video, but he's kind of doing like the house tour stuff. And when it comes to time to get a realtor on camera or to come up with the creative ideas, you almost need somebody on your staff who specializes in that, who comes from a video background, who comes from a creative writing background, or, that's because and especially if you're not feeling comfortable with your ideas or what to do, it's like, I don't think you can force it. I mean, I think if you have someone you can learn from and you can get inspired, that can really help. But it's tough to teach an old dog new tricks, in a way.
Yeah. I think too, if I love for our personal videos, houses without an agent on camera is great, because we get to be creative and create something more cinematic. And like, then an agent can see, oh my God, this video is so cinematic. We didn't start with the outside of the house. We started with like light. We started with light, and we play with light because this house has amazing windows. So let's play with light, show light within the first 10 seconds, have sound effects, make it fast, make it engaging, and make people want to see where that light's coming from. So that 5 seconds of like capturing that engagement will turn into 15 seconds. And then it can turn into 30 seconds of them. Oh shit, this is really beautiful. What's happening here? Oh, it's this. What else is there? I always say too, it's like, if you're selling a home, if you don't have like good landscaping, people aren't even going to want to go inside, because, if they can't landscape their front lawn, they probably can't do their dishes or mop their floors. So it's just like, showcase the best of the best to keep people engaged, and the small things go far away.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll send you some stuff of like what I'm kind of talking about.
That would be amazing, because I think getting inspired through something like that would help, because right now it's like, I have some ideas. How many of you guys do you have just a video person on, or are you doing, your photographers are doing your video? Because right now it's like, we do everything. We have one person on site.
Ours are more specialized. I don't know about you, Alex. We've got like a lead videographer, and he is amazing at video. So all of our high-end stuff goes to him, and he's amazing on the creative. So he gets all of those jobs. We make sure that he's available for that stuff. And then we've got other guys who can do like higher end-ish videos that are like more reels, not like the full feature, full creative type stuff. So we just kind of have like tiered them, and we just send them off on the appropriate shoots. But those guys need to be super heavy on the creative, because we can have a phone call ahead of time, talk about music, talk about the house. But it's like, really, when the videographer gets in there, he's like, bang, here's my idea. It's like he has to be on site, he or she has to be on site before they can really figure out the creative. And then they work on that on site, and they've got really good at that, to where it's like 20 minutes to come up with a hook with a few ideas, mic them up, and boom, but it took a while to get the right people in place. But for us, that's been the key for sure, because not everybody's, we've got one that's amazing at editorial architectural photo. She's on the luxury photo side. She will not touch video, and we're good with that. We've just kind of like try to keep everyone in their lane, rather than, for a while we tried to train everybody on everything. And like you said, like, you're not super comfortable with video yet. So we found people who either wanted to become really great at it or already were pretty good at it, so that we're not like forcing something that they don't love to do just because it always shows in the final product. Or that's been our experience anyway.
Yeah. I've found it, I found it to be tough to it's just a tough road to navigate, because we do want all our shooters to be able to do all of our things, and so far now we can have 2 newer part-time people. They're not trained up on video yet, but the plan is to get them trained up on video. And I do think if everyone on your team can go shoot like that standard property video where it's just kind of like the gimbal and knowing the drone shots to get, I think that really helps, because even if they can just get some B-roll for a more creative vision of somebody else on the team, I think that's super helpful. And again, and if it's the one thing where it's like it's a thing 2 hours away, but you only want to send one person on that. So I think there's something to be said for that. But then having that video person is pretty key. It just, you have to have the pricing structure to support that as well, though, I think, because the videographers actually are more expensive than photographers typically, right? Because photography, I guess, is an easier skill set, theoretically. And so the videographers are just like, they command higher prices, and you should be charging more for your video. But I know we always get, hey, I'm all about raising prices, but it's always been hard for us to maximize the revenue from the video side. So Upmarket has not figured this out yet. So it sounds like, though, you guys have a much better, at least Alex and Kelly have a much better grasp on this whole thing.
Lots of trial and error.
Yeah,
for sure.
And so, but Alex, just to drill down, you have a kind of a video department, a photo department. Are those kind of, is there crossover between the employees, or you really kind of keep them separate?
Honestly, at first, I only had photographers and then I only had videographers. And then it got to that point where it's like, okay, I'm sending 2 people to a property, like you said, Reed. And, I could be doing 2 properties instead of 1 within the same hour. And when you get so busy and people are like, there's no booking time slots left, you're like, okay, I got to rethink this. But yeah, I have my top videographers for sure that will only get the luxury. And I have a couple photographers that can't even touch video because I can't even picture them holding a gimbal. It's just not their thing, So
That's
it's like, yes, I have certain employees for certain roles for sure. Like I have a lead photo person who's head of the photo department. So she also does the quality control and checks all the photo stuff. And then I have same with the lead of the head of video department as well. So he shoots all the luxury stuff. He works with our top tier clients. He only shoots video, and then he also edits videos, like the top luxury edits, and he makes them chef's kiss, so good. And it's like having those specialized people also gives them incentive to work hard, because it's like, oh, I'm head of the video department. I'm the best in this area. People are going to come to me with questions, and they're not just going to go to Alex. They're going to come to me first because this is my role. But yeah, it's great having people in their certain areas, but it's also good just to have the hybrids as well.
Okay. Well, and then too, the big thing for you, Alex, I think, which is different than a lot of us, and I want to hear what Jenn and Kelly are doing, is your video editors are in-house. So you have them in Hamilton. I mean, you have an office that they all go, or you're moving your office. So so it's it's like an office where people go and work. Which I feel like is different than most real estate media companies operate.
100%. I've always had this vision of owning a media company and having offices in a cool place for people to come and work. Because I always got, I don't know, as a creative, I never got treated well at bigger companies. And I always wanted to create something for employees to come, enjoy the space, enjoy work culture and all these things. So, so all my video editors are in-house, photo editors in-house. We are touching base with some AI auto enhanced stuff for our photo stuff. But I mean, with the video, I cannot deal with sending something overseas. One, because the price point doesn't make sense for us. The Canadian dollar is terrible. You guys, it might make more sense. For us, it's just we're paying triple. I'd rather pay 3 salaried employees and have the quality control. And if I need an instant change, it's instantly going to happen. I don't have to wait till the people are awake overseas. But yeah, all in-house, quality control is great. The client care is so good, and it works.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wait, one quick question on that, and then I want to hear what Kelly and Jenn are doing. But what's your turnaround time for video?
48 hours. If obviously if you can get it faster, then that's great, but 48 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I think
if
we've
it's
gotten
Lux, we ask for grace.
Yeah. We've gotten in this trap of, delivering our videos like next morning, and that's, hard.
Yeah.
And it's hard. And, we couldn't do that if we edited in house, because, you need the next day to people to actually edit. So, Jenn or Kelly, what are you all doing?
Everything for me gets sent out to editors. We don't do any of it. I think that would be the dream. I love the idea of having an office where even at the end of the day, you can, or the next day, drop off your cards. Because that's the part I think that is, you come home, you still have to do all that work. You have to send it over. It works out well for us. We're kind of in the same trap. We stay up to 48 hours for our video, but it's usually the next day, especially if it's a pretty straightforward walkthrough. There's no reason we can't typically get it back the next day. But if we're doing anything more high-end or a little bit more on the creative side, I've just been asking, we need a little bit more time on this so that we can do something that's a little bit more impressive. And they've been pretty good about giving us that, because especially on their more luxury properties, they're typically booking us with enough notice that they're not going live for a while.
Right.
It's the ones where they're on a really tight deadline that next day turnaround becomes really important.
Cool. And Kelly?
I love the idea of in-house too. We kicked that around for so long. And so just financially looking at it, I asked Brian, I was like, please just give me a chance to just vet out a couple of people overseas and just see how it goes. Because we changed the style of our videos so much that just the skill set needed to be pretty different than what we're used to. So we got extremely lucky finding 2 video editors overseas. They work all night and they do have it to us by 8 a.m. next day. Usually some days we just have a few really big videos that we just kind of have to set the client expectation. Hey, this is going to be an extra day. We're getting a lot of these multi-edits. So they might want a horizontal for YouTube and a vertical for social. And that's 2, our editor does 2 completely separate edits that take him 8 hours each. So, we're definitely learning on just managing the workflow with them. But we've been extremely fortunate with the quality, their responsiveness. I mean, even when it's 4 a.m. over there, if we need a change, we'll ping them and they get on. We are extremely fortunate in that regard. Yeah, that has not been the traditional experience from people that we've talked to. So we take very good care of them because they have definitely been responsible for really elevating our brand in so many ways. So they've been awesome.
Oh, that's
See,
great.
I would love that even for an overflow, it'd be, but every time I've tried it a couple times and I just felt like I was getting burned, and then we just fell so far behind and it just wasn't hitting our mark.
Yeah. And if it financially doesn't make sense for you, for us, it really did. I mean, they're a third of what we would pay somebody stateside to do what they're doing. And they feel really well compensated for what they're doing. So it's kind of like a win for all of us, but we're gonna hang on to that as long as we can. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I've hung on as long as I can on this show. I gotta go. I gotta go. So we're changing up the format of Upmarket for this show. So we're not doing our social media sidebars. We're not doing action items. But if why don't you all say? And Alex, I know you said you would send Jenn some videos. Will you send me a link as well that we can share with our viewers to see those? That would be great. So we'll put that in the show notes. So maybe over this weekend you can get that up for us. So where can we? Let's go, Jenn, Kelly, Alex. Where can we find you all on socials?
So I'm on Instagram primarily. Everything from my Instagram goes over to Facebook. I don't know if anybody's really over there. I'm on Jenn Lueck Photog, underscores in between. So Jenn _Lueck _Photog. And Lueck is Lueck.
There you go.
Luck with an E in the middle.
All right.
We are at Local Flavor Films with an S. So Local Flavor Films.
And Northern Spruce Media.
There you go. Northern Spruce Media for Alex. Yeah. And so we are, of course, Upmarket Pod, and we're upmarket.media for our regular business as well. Thank you, everyone. That was great. And I'm really excited over over time to talk more with you all. I think we're all in kind of different places, and it's really interesting to hear these perspectives, and hopefully we can all help each other grow and help our listeners grow as well. So thank you all for spending the time with us. I know everyone's real appreciative.
I love it.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Upmarket is a production of Upmarket Studios. This episode was produced by Chelsea Froelich and edited by Bethany Diedrich. Thank you so much for listening, and we really hope you listen to the next one too. In the meantime, our wish for you is to not have to shoot any Friday night Twilight shoots. Thank you for everything.